Hey guys, so we have a few stories today to cover. I'm a little bit behind again on stories because why wouldn't I be? And yeah, so Instagram, Twitter, follow me on there. Everything else coming soon, second channel. I don't have to talk about this again. I just want my next video to be subscribe to my channel, and that would be really fun and fresh if I could just get it together. So recently some news has come out about an influencer. So Acacia Brindley, she used to date one of the O2L guys. O2L was like a group where each of them uploaded on a different day. It was like a group channel, and yeah, she was dating one of them. She used to be hated on. She was like one of the Tumblr girls. She really like started that out, and she has recently been called out for some tweets in her past, and she apologized, as you do. And remember, I wanted to talk about it, and then I ran out of time in one of my videos, and I was going to say, you know, like, actions speak louder than words. Yes, her apology sounded great, but I just want to see if she will walk the walk once she talks the talk, you know? I just wanted to see if there will be a change, and I'm glad I waited with that story, because it so happens that she didn't write that apology. She got one of her fans to write that apology for her. So she said, "Many years ago, I said a racial more than once. I'm sorry that I did, and I'm sorry I cannot change that I did. Trust me, I wish I could. I'm sorry. I am beyond remorseful. I will continue to do all I can to show my true beliefs and that I support the Black community. I'm moving forward, and I hope that you can forgive me and move forward too. I'll take my time, and you deserve yours. I love you all so much. I really do hate that I hurt my Black viewers because you really do mean so much to me. I'll see you soon. Have a good night." And the girl that wrote that apology for her replied saying, "Don't fall for this. She didn't write it herself." And she shows DMs between her and Acacia, where Acacia says, "If I said what you said now, you wouldn't believe I even mean it. Just say it to everyone else. I won't expose it because I'm not a terrible human being," which she did end up exposing it, but we'll skip over that for a minute. "I also don't know how to say it same but different. I like the last one you said. I feel that one the most. Then use it. It just feels absolutely terrible to copy and paste something you said." And she went, "The whole point of me DMing you was just trying to help you and educate you, so use it. Everyone's going to contact everyone you get a brand deal with anyway, so just, I don't know, look like a good human being while you can." So she ended up using an apology that one of her fans sent her and wrote for her, and then that fan went and exposed her. As much as, like, if you promise someone that you won't expose them, don't. It comes across as really like two-faced, where like, well, I'll go and help them out, but then once they accept my help, I'll expose that they accepted my help. It just seems a little, you know, but it just goes to show that her apology wasn't from her, it was from someone else. And can you really trust an apology not written by the person that is apologizing to you? Like, I don't know, I just feel like it doesn't seem genuine enough for me to be like, oh yeah, she's changed. I feel like I want to see the rest of that conversation. Was it more of a ideas bouncing from each other? Like, if she had, right, like a fan that she spoke to before, like she knew that this person was a fan of her and was also a part of the community that she had offended, and if she went to them and said, "Hey, I have an apology in mind that I want to say. What do you think about this? Do you think this is a good enough apology, or do I have to work on this?" Then I would have kind of accepted that more, because it would be an apology that came from her, that the person would then be like, as a Black person, I accept this as a good enough apology. But if it was more just like, "Hey, what do I do?" and then she wrote an apology for her, that can't be genuine, right? Like, you can't be sincere with that one because it's not your apology. You didn't come up with it. So like, none of what's in that apology, you're not gonna like work on anything you said in an apology because you didn't write that apology. So why would you, you know? I don't know, I just wish she had written it herself. So recently, Colleen Ballinger, Miranda Sings basically, had done a little oopsie. So Miranda Sings tweeted out saying that she's going to be posting a coming out video, and then it wasn't the typical coming out video that you'd expect. And people were saying that she was basically queer baiting people to click on the video, because people usually like to be supportive of people coming out, so they're more likely to click on that video and get views and all that good stuff. And she's actually done this before. This isn't the first time she's done this. So after receiving some backlash, she did put out a statement saying, "I agree with you and I regret it, which is why I deleted it. I'm deeply sorry. Miranda is a character. A lot of time I base the character on people who are idiots. I will see people do something awful and then do it as Miranda to show them how idiotic it looks. But this shouldn't have been tweeted. Queer baiting is wrong, period. I'm the biggest supporter and ally of the LGBTQ+ community, and the fact that I disappointed people in that community is devastating." Yeah, I was never a fan of Colleen. Like, I never watched her videos, but I also never watched Miranda's videos. I'm not a big fan of like fake characters on like skits on YouTube, and I feel like it's kind of dated. So I'm not like emotionally invested in this, but I just think it's a little like there's other ways to get views than this. Recently, Kim Kardashian has been having some beef with Taylor Swift due to the Kanye West 2016 thing. I'm not gonna go over it again. There was a song, it was misogynistic. Taylor Swift didn't agree to it, and the rest is history. So it recently came back again, and people are roasting Kim Kardashian. Now, the funny thing is, this came out, and then that same week, another season of Keeping Up with the Kardashians was premiering. So people were like, it almost seems like this was done on purpose, but like, it really hurt Kim Kardashian more than it benefited her. So now people are laughing because Kylie Jenner never really took part in Keeping Up with the Kardashians. She did when she was younger because she really had no choice, and she lived in that house when most of the scenes were filmed. So when her and Kendall were younger, they really took part in Keeping Up with the Kardashians. But then as the seasons went on and as she got older, she was not in many episodes. I mean, in a whole season, you'd see her maybe twice. And realistically, right, if you're gonna look at that whole family, Kylie Jenner is the most popular right now. She is the one that's kind of more likely to bring in an audience. So because of how things went, I'm assuming maybe the show didn't get the kind of views that it normally would have. So Kim Kardashian tweeted out, "I love that at Kylie Jenner is on so much more this season." And the first reply is Kylie being forced to save the show, and it's just Jack Henner looking into the camera like, yes. It almost seems like Kylie Jenner is now being used as the marketing tactic. There is a marketing tactic for every season, except this marketing tactic didn't work because Taylor Swift came out on top. So now they have to bring in the big guns, the big boys, and Kylie Jenner is the big gun now in that family. So what a shame, what a shame. The next piece of tea is recently I've been tagged in a lot of times in this thread, and it's basically against a girl called Bitcoin Justine, who is someone, I'm not really sure who, and she said, "Got bored." Someone replied saying, "Hi babe, if you're so bored, please send me my packages I paid way too much for. I'm a broke college student and scamming me out of $90 is really not cool." And then they go on to say, Justine has an IG closet that she sells clothes she doesn't use anymore, and I was fast enough to get 2 pairs of pants for $90 as a gift for myself during the holiday season, both pricing at $40 a pair. Also, yes, this is her legit account as she posted proof that she isn't scamming. So I gave her my info, total came to $90 with shipping, totally expected, and I was willing to pay and was told it would be sent after the holidays. 1 month goes by and I get nothing, but she communicates that she has not been feeling well. Fine, sure. She never sends me the tracking and never sends me any updates afterwards. I assumed it was because of New Year's or something like that, so I waited and have been waiting since then to get this supposed tracking in my package. Never came to me, and she hasn't posted since January. This has also been happening to other people that are in the same position as me, aka a broke college student. This person spent $84 and never received their package and ghost. They just posted basically proof of like the different people that have also been scammed. Then they say, my sister's also paid Justine a good sum of money for an article of clothing and has not received her package or tracking. If you're not going to send us our package or communicate clearly between all of us who have paid, it'd be great to be refunded of our money. Majority of us cannot afford throwing $30 into the air, let alone 90. You are a Ford's model. Oh, she's a model. We are college students getting by with minimum wage jobs if we're lucky. We have human decency to refund us or give us our packages we paid for. And then other people replied to that thread saying that they had the same experience, but obviously we can't, if they don't post the proof, we don't know. And then Justine tweets out saying, "I've been trying to figure out how to say everything for the time I've been silent. There are so many things that 280 characters won't undo, and I know this letter won't either, but these are my words for those that have been affected by my actions." And then she goes on to say in that letter, "I understand there is a lot to address, especially with so much anger in my silence, but I believe everyone deserves answers. I want to do what was right first before responding by both sending refunds, shipping clothes, and communicating with those customers who have been waiting for their unfulfilled orders, including those from the past. For those that I've hurt through recent and past events, I am truly and genuinely sorry from the bottom of my heart for my actions. It was irresponsible for me to try to balance so many things, this personal business, my modeling career, and everyday life at one time, and make promises to you when I couldn't uphold my end. I'm sorry for being so inconsiderate by not communicating with you, and as a result causing you heartache and distress, especially when many of you were so excited to own new things for yourselves. Regardless of personal issues, I should have been more responsible and considerate. Some of you involved have been fans for so long, and you deserved so much better from me. Others involved that had just become new fans or simply wanted to own new clothes, I'm sorry I've let you down. I take full responsibility for all my mistakes. I recognize some won't accept my apology. However, I believe sending items and providing refunds is the only way to address and correct the hurt I've caused. I understand that I've had many disputes in my past with people I had never reconciled with. It's understandable for those emotions to come up again and for people to speak on unresolved conflict with me. I'm willing to handle this reality, and I hope one day to reconcile with everyone I've disagreed with or hurt. I only ask to please leave my family out of this as much as possible, as the only person at fault here is me. This letter wasn't written to receive forgiveness, but to hold myself accountable for my actions, acknowledge and validate the feelings of all that have been hurt by me. I'm sorry I didn't prioritize dealing with both the past and present while having such a big platform. I can't take back the things I've done, but I feel the most effective way of changing for the better is not just stating that I will change, but showing actual change. I hope as I grow, I can be a person that not only people can be proud of, but I can be proud of as well. For those that have supported me in good times and bad, thank you for being here. For those that have hurt, I only hope the actions I'm taking now will help relieve the pain I've caused. Thank you for listening, and for those who still have issues regarding anything related to these events, please email me at justinemacbiticon@gmail.com. I'll make this right. I think as a whole, this this is probably as good as an apology can get. Like it's even got a little signature at the bottom, must be official. As long as all the refunds are given, everything that needed to be shipped out is shipped out, and everyone is apologized to in that sense, with this broad apology as well. I think you don't have to trust her again and you don't have to buy from her again, but as a whole, this is probably just as resolved as it can get. So the next story is Tana Mojo yet again. People are kind of getting a bit angry because they're seeing a whole different side of Tana Mojo. I know this was probably a mistake, but she should have been more careful because this is considered a form of doxing. So Tana Mojo tweets out saying, "Bitches I went to high school with are out here getting pregnant and spelling September wrong." And she obviously posts a picture of someone saying, "Baby Larson, September 2020." But she forgot to take out the name on the ultrasound. So now everyone can find the first and last name as well as the child's name. It's a little irresponsible, but what do we expect from Tana Mojo? Realistically, this is one of those like Tana Mojo things where she's just being an irresponsible person, is not considerate of other people's feelings or privacy or anything. I get that this was probably a mistake and she took it down very quickly, but it is doxing. Like if you're gonna put out someone's like very personal information out there, cut out their name. Like someone's baby date of birth pretty much is personal information, and for you to have their first and last name in there as well as the child's first name and the child's birth month, like that is a lot of information to have on someone that was not needed out there. And having such a huge platform, it's kind of like when I spoke about Shane Dawson with the comment thing. He didn't put the name there, but people still found the person in the comment section. That's how like far people dig. And for you to put someone's first, last name, someone's child's first name and their birth month, that is a lot of information to put out there. Having such a huge platform, there is a certain responsibility that you take on automatically when you become an influencer. Like even if you say, "Oh, I didn't mean to take on this responsibility," you did, because you saw how other people in the past have had to deal with things. So you can't say to me that when you became a YouTuber you didn't realize that you would have a responsibility, because you did. And whether you accept that responsibility or not, it's there. The responsibility is don't dox people. That is probably like the number one. Like when you have 1 million followers, I don't know how much she has on Twitter, you can't put people's personal information out there. How interesting. And they have a responsibility to just not be a person, because your fans are going to be more likely to be people because they will take on the action. They will do the same things as you do, essentially, is what I'm saying. So like just be careful with the stuff you put out there. I know no one's perfect. I'm not expecting Tana Mojo to be perfect. I'm not expecting her to be the best role model there is. Like I don't think you have to be a role model. I don't think you have to be like, "Oh, I'm such a good person," and you don't have to be that much of a role model, but just not being a person is probably like a good place to start. And not being a person means not doxing people that you know. I don't know, I'm just not into this, but I'm glad she took it down as quickly as she did. And then she started doing damage control, where she was like, "Let me cash up some of you guys." So she just started sending money to everyone. And then someone else tweeted out saying, "Tana Mojo doxes a high school classmate for misspelling September, bakes her fans in the summer sun, scams her fans into watching a fake wedding, lies about iDubbbz grabbing her in a chokehold, etc. But MTV is always editing her out of context," right? Like that's the thing. Even linking back to her MTV show debacle, where in the last 2 episodes she's been not shown in a great light. Tana Mojo has never shown herself in a great light. So for her to be like, "This is all out of context," like, is it though? Because you've never been like a good person on the internet. With the whole TanaCon thing, the iDubbbz situation, like everything else that you've done, was that all out of context as well? Because if she was always a pristine, clean reputation kind of a YouTuber and then she was shown in a bad light, I'd be like, maybe something's going on here. The fact that she's never shown herself in a good light and now all of a sudden MTV's taking things out of context. Are they though? Or are you just like this? But I just genuinely think you've always shown yourself in a bad light, but MTV is showing like a whole other level of you that you weren't prepared to show people, because it's not actually good for your brand to be that problematic. Like problematic enough, great, cool, controversial, edgy, wow, whatever, but they're showing you in a whole different light. They're showing you as a bad friend, a bad person, and just I think this is not what you wanted, but this is actually who you are, and they're showing the true side of you. The next thing is Nikita Dragon recently posted pictures regarding the Voldemort crisis world thing we can't talk about, and she showed herself in like a big outfit that's supposed to be like Voldemort proof, but it's actually just a bee costume. Like your bee people, like bee workers, people that work with bees, they have those like costumes so they can't get to you. So I don't think that's gonna help you with Voldemort, and it's just a little bit insensitive. Like, I don't know, I feel like so many people are making such weird jokes about, like, there's people making valid jokes. There are valid and non-valid jokes. People making valid jokes about like the struggles of dealing with Voldemort as just a regular human being. And then there's rich people coming in with like bee outfits. Bee outfits, as if she's dressed as a bee. No, like bee, what are they called? Like people that tend to bees? Like bee workers, bee people outfits. And then people making jokes about like self-isolating and crying on camera. I know people in my comments were like, well, rich rich people are allowed to have yes, they're allowed to have problems, but their problems regarding like savings and having to self-isolate are not as big as regular people's problems. And I said that in my last video. I said if some of them are affected by Voldemort very personally, like someone in their family gets Voldemort, then yes, they are allowed to cry and be sad. But just the fact that they're having to self-isolate in their multi-million-dollar mansions is, to me, not a reason for them to cry, because they have huge incomes, huge savings if they're smart, and if they're not, that's not my problem. Multi-million-dollar mansions where they probably have like tennis courts and fun things to do, swimming pools, and there is a lot less to worry about there than people that are losing their jobs, losing an income, still having to pay rent, and still having to self-isolate with like zero savings to buy groceries with, you know? There is a slight issue there. So yeah, this is just another one of those like, could have just kept that one in the drafts. But I get that it's just like jokes, and some people are going to say this is just a way to lighten the mood, which fair enough, yes, this is a way to make people feel more at ease. It's the reason why YouTubers are still posting videos, because it is kind of an escape for everyone. It's an escape for example, me, to be able to do my makeup and still film a video and have a nice chat about things that don't always revolve around Voldemort. But there is a line you can kind of cross with that where it starts going into like insensitive territory, and you don't want to be there. But Nikita Dragon has never like been considered a very considerate influencer. She always does things that are very controversial. I think she does it on purpose because it gives her more clicks and likes, and it gives her more exposure and keeps her kind of going, keeps her afloat, which is such a business model, because at some point you're going to cross the line really far, and people are finally going to realize what kind of a person you are and turn their backs on you. I don't know, I feel like I'm going very deep into this for like absolutely no reason, but it just shows a broader picture of like, even recently when she did that thing where she was wearing a do-rag and she made her face like thousands shades darker, people were like, this is insensitive, and she was like, I don't care, you can't tell me what to do, I can do whatever I want. And then in another tweet she was like, please guys, tell me when I mess up so I can apologize and change. It's like, make up your mind, make up your mind. What do you want? Do you want us to tell you when you're messing up so you can apologize, but then when we do tell you what you did wrong, you don't apologize? Like, okay, fine, cool. She always does things that are insensitive. She had her hair in like braids before, and then she tried to explain to black women what braids are for, as if they don't know. Yeah, she tried to make it like a, what was it, like a not appreciation post, but like a bringing awareness. She was trying to bring awareness to braids, as if the awareness isn't there. Like, black women know what the braids are there for, so you'd have to bring awareness to them. And the way she did them was like, she first posted the braids, and then once she got backlash, she was like, I did this for the awareness. If it was about the awareness, she would have made that clear in the first post, but you didn't. Yeah, me and Nikita Dragon don't really have a good relationship going right now. I'm just not here for her. Hype House is just a bunch of like TikTokers in one house. The way the Hype House started, it was Thomas, who was an ex-member of Team 10 for Jake Paul, which speaks for itself. He started it with like 2 other TikTokers, and one of them was called Daisy, and they all put in money for the deposit for the house, and then obviously they're leasing it now. They didn't buy it, but you need to put down like a bigger deposit because it's an expensive house. And they got a lot of influencers there, and then they started to push Daisy out because she was the only girl in that like trio that first invested in this, and they started pushing her out, and she's not part of the Hype House anymore. And she basically is just now saying that she's been scammed, and they're all being scammed, because apparently Thomas, who's the oldest one there as well, and he's basically like 21-ish, living with like a bunch of 15-16 year olds. It's weird, first of all. And 2, he has access, he's the only one that has access to the emails, to the Instagram accounts, and everything else. So when he's saying like, oh, this brand deal is for this product, he could actually be getting paid for it and just not telling them, and saying that this is a brand deal in exchange for a product and not money as well. So he could actually be pocketing a lot of money and not telling them about it, because he's responsible for the brand deals, he gets them and then he disperses them, but he's not telling them how much they're getting paid for it. And she's saying that they weren't getting paid a lot, if anything at all. And all of a sudden he's coming out with Cartier bracelets, and he wants to buy a Tesla, and people are saying, where's this money coming from, because we're not seeing the money. And he's now buying Cartier bracelets, so something's not adding up. And she basically left the Hype House, and I think there's probably going to be some legal action pursued, because I can't imagine that she just let it slide like this. And if she does, then fine, but I really want her to set a precedent that this isn't going to run like this. And I would just like her to kind of like take legal action and be like, I'm not gonna let you scam us, allegedly, if this is, because even she doesn't know, because she still doesn't have access to the emails. And if she actually pursued legal action, I bet that she could get access to those emails and accounts, and people would actually look into it if it went far enough. And I think it'd be quite nice and beneficial for everyone for her to get access to those emails and sue him if needed, and sue the Hype House for basically scamming her out of money, because she actually put an initial initial payment of like 18,000 down. I think he put down 5k and she put 18k and someone else put 18k. I think he put the least money in and he's getting all the money out, allegedly. So that's the tea on that. I want to see how the Hype House progresses and what happens with that, because they've been getting a lot of like press now. Everyone's talking about them. They're on like talk shows and just like doing interviews and stuff. So there must be money involved that she's just not receiving. Like, I can't believe that someone with like millions of followers would get paid with exposure or products. There must be money involved, and he definitely would negotiate money. So if she's not seeing any money, I am, in my honest opinion, thinking that she's getting scammed. But that is alleged information. So I would like her to definitely pursue that, because she could get a lot of money back if she won. James Charles recently unblocked me on Twitter. Hi, sister. Hello. I think it's because maybe someone told him, or he told himself, that I've been very nice to him lately, because I think he's very much matured recently over the last year, or since the Bicyster scandal. I think he's become publicly a very mature young man. That made no sense. Mature, but like mature for his age. Like he's become a very nice young man who is doing great things for his career, and he's just minding his own damn business, making new friends, having fun, making TikToks, doing TikTok dances, and I'm just beyond proud as the parent that I have now assigned myself to be for James Charles. So James Charles tweeted out saying, tested positive for having a fat. Yeah, cool. And then Trinity, who is a drag queen, replied to that saying, fat girl who diagnosed you, Helen Keller. And then James Charles replied to that saying, damn, she must have mistook the lumpy silicone in your face as braille instead of reading my actual test results. My mistake. Speaking of mistakes, how's your crown? And then Trinity replied saying, oh girl, that's cute, keep reading doll. I'm not the one who tried to break in people's lines at DragCon to meet you and ask if you can ship me free product, my tucking panty, for a like and a post, but girl, do you. That short looks. And then James Charles replied saying, free? Where? You are one of my favorite queens and I was ready for a fun read back, but this was weak. And James Charles basically posted a DM between them two where he said, hi babe, I really want to get a few pairs of your tucking panties for Coachella this year, but I'm worried if I order them on the site they won't come in time. Is there any way I could PayPal or Venmo you to get them like tomorrow or Wednesday? And do you have them in white by any chance too? So it shows that he wanted to pay, he just wanted them sooner. And then Trinity said, I specifically remember you asking in person at the con, but go off. Like, there is really no proof for that, which he might have actually done that, but obviously there'll be no proof because it's just word of mouth. It's like, but at least he had the DM to prove that he wanted to pay initially. So I'm more inclined to believe James Charles in this situation, not because I'm biased. Before any of you bored people say it's because I'm biased, it's because there is proof. I've realized since the Voldemort crisis has been happening in the world and more people are staying at home, people are very bored, because I've seen an influx of hate comments on everyone's videos, including mine. Like, there is an influx of like nitpicking and weird, like, is everyone okay? Do you need hobbies? Read a book. There's good books to read. And then James Charles replied saying, nah, I needed it for Coachella and I haven't been to DragCon in over a year. If you're gonna read me, at least come correct. Not sure why you're taking this so seriously. I actually really enjoy your work and thought that your initial tweet was playful. Wishing you the best. And actually, then Trinity posted a tweet on her Twitter saying, by the way, I'm sure most already know, but at James Charles is trash. Thanks for the follow, girl. See, followed her. And then, and yes, I at him. I ain't got no reason to just talk behind his back. And when I say back, I mean extended back, since he ain't got no. And then someone replied saying, body shaming, yes, that's how you win an adult argument. And they said, I 100% agree. That's kind of my biggest problem. Is like, it started off, Trinity never started it off as a joke. James Charles thought it was a joke, so they both kind of sent digs at each other and it was great and fun. But what I'm now realizing is this was serious. So when Trinity was making fun of his looks, she was actually making fun of his looks, and that was like an argument that she thought was like necessary to make, which I've said this on many occasions before. I'm not a big fan of making digs at people's looks. I never liked it when it happened to Jaclyn Hill. I didn't like it when it happened to Dani Khan, mainly because she was a child, and I don't like it when it happens to James Charles either. Like, I don't think anywhere in that we should be making, I don't think for any reason we should be making digs at people's looks when it's serious. Like, if it's two friends making fun of each other's looks, fine. If they're okay and comfortable with that and everyone's like okay with this, perfect. So that's why I think James Charles like clapped back, because he thought it was like a playful thing, and then it became serious. Well, it was serious from the start, but then he realized it was serious and he was like, oh, okay, which is a little hurtful. And I just think it's kind of unnecessary. If genuinely you don't like James Charles, and that's fine, you have every right to not like him and you have every right to have a problem with things he's done in the past. If you want to bring that up, perfect, but to bring looks into that is just not my cup of tea. But everyone has different opinions on that, and that's fine. So anyway, if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, comment down below anything, comment down below, and subscribe, because I post videos every other day. So hit that bell and you'll be notified when that's happening. Social media links in the description and anything else you need to find, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.